Hello and welcome to Mobility Mastery Monday. I'm Alicia and this is the place to be if you want to lose the pain, lose your fear of pain, learn to trust your body, and do what you love for life. Have you ever tried to start running regularly only to experience excruciating pain in your shins? It can feel like shards of glass kind of trying to break into your soft tissue, or maybe you feel like your bones are actually about to break. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know how frustratingly painful shin splints can be. So today I want to talk about why they happen and what you can do to not only get them gone for good right now and get back to running, but prevent them in the first place. So a lot of you know that I had pretty bad knee pain for 8 years. It stopped me from running for 8 years and hiking for 6. But what I've never really talked about is that it actually started with shin splints when I was about 16 years old. I had stopped doing gymnastics and I wanted to be active still, so I started running outside, and within a few weeks of running regularly, I was feeling that horrific pain in my shins. Now, I'm an extremely stubborn person. I don't like letting pain stop me, and I didn't know better at the time at 16 years old, so I just kept running through that pain. And oddly enough, the shin splints actually went away, but then I ended up with that knee pain that was so excruciating, it literally brought me to my knees onto the ground and then stopped me from running for 8 years. And what I know now is that actually those two things were connected. So even though the shin splints went away, the problem itself didn't and only got worse and led to knee pain. So this can happen to a lot of you out there and you may not even think they're related. So if you're trying to push through shin splints, they can go away, but if you ignore what's actually causing them, it can lead to other things that are going to stop you from running or being active altogether for a while until you figure it out. So what are shin splints? Well, medically speaking, according to the Mayo Clinic website, shin splints, or medial tibial stress syndrome, is an overuse issue caused by running. Specifically, running on hard surfaces is often considered a cause. They tell us that you're at particularly high risk of shin splints if you're a runner, if you're just starting to run regularly, if you're in the military, if you have high or flat arches, and on and on. And then there's that laundry list of ways you can manage the pain, such as having your gait analyzed, maybe getting shoe inserts, maybe specifically getting shoe inserts that have gel in them so they can act like your shock absorbers. And a lot of the time you might hear someone telling you to actually lessen the impact of your activities, so they might suggest maybe not running quite as much and swimming a bit more often. But none of these things address the actual cause. And if you're like me and you love running, then you don't want to be told to stop running and start swimming. So I'm actually here to tell you from personal experience that so long as you take care of the cause of this pain, you can run to your heart's content, and it doesn't matter how long you run, what kind of surface you're running on, if you're a trail runner, a pavement runner, whether you run a lot or you just run once a week, you can do whatever you want if you take care of the cause. So what is this cause of shin splints? Well, it's pretty simple. It's basically fascia in the lower leg compartment and maybe other areas of your lower body as well that have lost their spring. The fascia in those lower leg compartments can get really tight and dehydrated and brittle and can no longer act as your shock absorber nor let you spring out of movement. So basically, fascia is meant to be a little gel-like, actually. It's meant to absorb impact for us and help us spring out of activities like running without any shock or pain in our joints. So what allows your fascia to do this is a substance called ground substance. And it's that gel-like material that's in the fascia, and it's actually what feeds every cell in our body, as well as absorbing toxins that the cells excrete and ushers them out of the body. Now, that fascial system can get dehydrated, brittle, and stuck to itself from a lot of things. This can happen from overuse, underuse, injury, even just being sedentary all the time can do it. And when this happens, the fascia loses its ability to distribute mechanical stress, which is actually one of its main jobs. So that includes, things like walking, running, pounding pavement, or impact coming into the body. It's meant to be absorbed throughout the whole system so that no specific joint, muscle, has to take that load by itself. So to help you kind of understand what I'm talking about here, I want you to imagine a balloon. And in the middle of that balloon is a rock. And around that rock is a bunch of gel. Now I want you to imagine maybe like, throwing that rock onto the ground. It's probably going to be fine because it has that gel around it. But now I want you to imagine if you took that gel out and replaced it with a bunch of straws. You could do the same thing and maybe not affect the rock to a great degree at first, but eventually it's going to start to feel that impact and maybe start to crack or threaten to crack. And this is actually one reason why stress fractures can occur, because the fascia can't absorb that impact like that gel would, and so your bones are actually taking the hit. Now maybe you're thinking that, isn't it the pounding on pavement that's actually bad for our joints? Well, I used to think the exact same thing, but not anymore. Running on pavement used to hurt me every time, no matter what, even before I got knee pain. Now I can run on pavement, I can run downhill, I can run down mountains, taking giant steps over rocks and pounding really hard into the ground, and none of those things cause me pain anywhere in my lower body when my fascia is healthy. So I've kind of come to the conclusion that if our fascia is healthy, we can do whatever activities we want, and it's not the pounding that causes any damage. So here's your action plan for taking care of your fascia so you no longer have shin splints. Basically, you want to go after any of the fascia in your lower body, but the number one place to look is your calves, actually. Calves and shins, specifically. And a while back, I put out a video that kind of went viral because it addresses a lot of issues, and shin splints is just one of them. It's a powerful release technique for everything in that calf compartment, and it is my number one pick for those of you with shin splints. However, it's not super easy to get into the position I demonstrate in that video. So if you want to try it, please do, because if you can get into that position, you're going to get the best possible result. If you can't get into that position, there's another way to go after your calf fascia. It's just going to take a little bit longer, and you're probably going to have to add a few other techniques as well to go after the shins or peroneals or that tibialis anterior, which sits along that shin bone and also needs to be released. If you want to do additional things to support your entire lower body so you can run without pain, then I would absolutely go after, anything in the thighs is up for grabs, your quad fascia, your IT band fascia, your hamstrings maybe, and also your plantar fascia. That's going to be actually my number one pick after the one stretch or that really good calf release. Is going to be your plantar fascia, because that's the thing that's hitting the ground, and if its fascia doesn't have that space and gel, it's not going to distribute the impact as well. So my number 1 and 2 picks again are go after that calf and shin fascia and your plantar fascia, and then anything else you want to add is awesome, and you get bonus tips. So I'd love for you to try out these techniques and hopefully get back out there running. And I'd love for you to leave me a comment and let me know how this goes for you. I love running myself, so I know it sucks when something happens and I can't do it. And I'd love to support you to get back out there. If you know anyone struggling with shin splints right now, maybe pass this video along to them. And of course, if you like this video, maybe give us a thumbs up here on YouTube or share on social media. If you want new episodes emailed directly to your inbox, you can subscribe for our free newsletter at mobilitymastery.com, and of course, you can subscribe here on YouTube as well. As always, I hope you're learning to trust your body so you can adventure through life with confidence.